Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Star Wars Alliance podcast, your home on the Geek Ultimate Alliance podcast network for any and all things Star Wars. I'm your host, as always, Katie Rentschler, and with me today, my co-host extraordinaire, Clay. Clay, how are you doing today?
I guess this is the first official episode that I'm a co-host. So I'm excited.
Yes,
I'm excited.
official co-hosting duties. Woohoo! Um, so I'm going to tweet the link, but also to get us started, today is a strictly news podcast. We were gone for 3 weeks and missed a lot of news. Mainly our main titular, however you say that word, the title of today's episode, Knights of the Old Republic, if you can't see by our background on YouTube, or the show art if you're on Spotify, not Apple Podcasts because they don't show the specific show art. So
That's lame.
It is, which is why I use Spotify, because if I'm gonna use it, then I want to see like if they put out special artwork, then I want to do it, which is what we do here on the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. So, um, share,
I
copy link.
am super excited to talk about this. It was well, we'll leave like most of it to like the actual like talk about it, but just saying I was sitting there watching this thing live with a lot of people from the Geekverse podcast network and their Discord. We were all talking about everything, and as soon as that red lightsaber showed up in that video, holy crap, it was great. Um, yeah, super excited about this. I think this will be a somewhat shorter episode than normal, especially compared to our last episode talking about visions. But it never hurts to have a shorter episode sometimes.
Breath of fresh air before we get into like the regular spiel of things, and you can find our Visions episode by scrolling back in our personal podcast feed on your favorite podcatcher of choice. Which, by the way, for you have one more week to go submit a review on your favorite podcatcher of choice. Send us a screenshot on the Star Wars Alliance Twitter page and be entered to win a copy of Star Wars Ronin, which will be coming out next Tuesday. So we will be making the selection then, so I can get the book ordered. But yeah, go do that. Chance to win a free book, a free different book, because this isn't strictly canon. This is just based on one of the stories in Visions. So make sure you go do that, check that out, and write us a review, so then you can win a book. So yeah. But before we get into the rest of the news cast for today, do have to hit the podcast paperwork side of things. First things first, like I said, Star Wars Alliance is a part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance podcast network, where we have shows every single day of the week. On Sundays, you've got Slice Film with me. That's most Sundays. Sometimes not. Like, I'm getting back on track. I promise, y'all. I promise. And then Mondays, every other week, you've got World's Finest True Believers with Chris. And then the opposite week, you've got Ranger Alliance with Clay, Jake, Joe, Tony. I got all four right.
Yeah.
Um, and then Tuesdays, you've got DC Alliance with Travis and Clay yet again. Wednesdays, you've got superhero discussions with Travis. And then Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance Day. We're weekly now, so we get our own day. Woohoo! Fridays, you've got Marvel Alliance. And then every other Saturday, you've got a walk through the multiverse with Joe. So that's all the shows we've got. We do also have a Patreon if you're interested, where we have two tiers. The $1 tier helps keep the Kyber crystals charged around here, and the $5 tier gets y'all ad-free episodes, exclusive episodes, and any early episodes we may drop. If you can't support us on Patreon, which is perfectly fine, another very good way to support us is through reviewing on your favorite podcatcher of choice, but as well as this podcast that does have ads in it to help support the show and the network. So we appreciate y'all listening to them. But just to let y'all know now, we don't get to choose who the ads are from, nor how loud the ads are, nor how many times you hear the same ad in the same episode. So we do apologize in advance, but we appreciate y'all listening to the ads as they do help support the network. So with that, I think we're going to save Knights of the Old Republic. We've got a list. So Clay, what do you want to go into first?
I was just reading the article on the art of Star Wars visions.
Yes.
I did not know this was a thing until, excuse my dog. He has not been very well today. He bit me today, and not like in a very like harmful way. He does have an act for biting me, and it's just something that he has always done as a puppy. He's gonna bark for a little bit today, and I apologize for that. But reading the article, I had no idea that they were coming out with an actual art book for this. It does state here that the release is going to be April 12th of 2022 with the price tag of 49.99. Of course, it is going to be published by Dark Horse Comics. So,
Yes.
really, really exciting. I do think I am going to be purchasing this. I'm a sucker when it comes to art books. I don't own a Star Wars one though. For me, I'm usually one like if a particular artist has a art book or a
Yeah.
sketchbook that they are releasing. Uh, I'm really I'm a really big nerd for like Art Germ. I love his art. He has had several sketchbooks released when it comes to comic artists. This though, I think I would really enjoy to see like the concept arts and like some of the ideas that they came up with beforehand, because sometimes they'll do that kind of thing in these art books. But what are you expecting out of this?
So I'm hoping that so it's currently titled The Art of Star Wars Visions.
Hmm.
One of my biggest pet peeves with the art of is that it's never like particular. So we got two, or I think we just got one Art of the Mandalorian book, and it was purely about season one. But then
Hmm.
they had a season two one coming, but it was just like the Art of Mandalorian again. But that one ended up being canceled because they're trying to like savor the story that's being told and like leave it told to screen and then go back and do stuff later. So I really hope that if they're going to go forward with the season two of this, that I want them to define it as a season one, because this is definitely something, especially with it being anime, and like just like kind of the art process behind drawing those the characters out and everything. I think I want it to be a little more distinguished, but I also do want to pick this one up at the same time. It's over 200 pages. Um, so it's a lot of material. And it's got all of the studios involved. So I'm excited because this would be the first Star Wars art of book that I purchase.
Oh,
I
really?
think. Yeah. I all of the Star Wars books I own, fun fact, are all fiction. They're not. Oh, I take that back. I take that back. I do have um Amy Ruchow's book that she wrote for Valentine's Day, which was like the relationships of Star Wars, so like the love relationships and
Oh, yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
So I do have that one. That's the only nonfiction Star Wars book I own. But I'm also the only downside I think with announcing these books up front, especially with a published date that far in advance, is that I'm worried it's still gonna get delayed because so Hate's E.K. Johnston's book, the third Padme book, it was supposed to come out in November as a Disney book, one of their young adults to finish off the Padme trilogy, and it has been delayed to November. So, or it has been delayed to April.
Oh, okay.
So I'm worried that the new stuff we're getting announced is going to be delayed, and like the IDW High Republic comic by Daniel Jose Older, and I'm sorry, I never remember the artist. Sorry, I'm terrible at that. Um, but it has been delayed like 4 times, and it just got delayed again. So
Did it
yeah,
really?
yeah,
The Adventures book?
yeah. I got a notification in my Amazon.
See, I'm not getting those notifications. I need to look that up then. That's disappointing.
It's
Um,
been on my pre-order list since basically the comic was out, because I don't I don't like purchasing individual issues. So I'm like, okay, if I can get them all
Individual
nicely bound.
issues can definitely be because you can't really see it in the video, but right to my side, I have one, two, three, four. I have four stacks of. I have 12 cases of comics that can hold anywhere from 100 to 150 comics. So it can take up a lot of space. Like
Yeah.
that within itself is, I would say, close to like just a table worth of size in a room that is just taken up in one room. And I enjoy it because it's part of when I was collecting, but nowadays I only do hardcovers or trades. So
Mhm.
for me, I would much rather show it off in a bookshelf rather than hold it into a case where you're never really going to
Yeah.
be showing it off or anything.
Because
So
that's the other thing with, like, the individual issues is you can't really see, like, what the edge is, so you have to, like, short them properly, and then you have to, like, flip through all of them, and I'm like,
yeah.
"Ah, bro."
Yeah, it is a process of like there's some people that have gotten really creative. I can't remember the company, but I do know that they are out in Tennessee. They did come down here to ship off some items or at least travel with some items that they have sold. They will make like awesome like drawers and like all sorts of stuff to hold comics and display comics. I still want one of those so that way these can like go away and I can have like a proper thing to like show them off with. But it can get expensive as well. So like because then you have to remember about every year and a half you have to switch out the bags and boards because it's they're going to get dirty. And with having 12 boxes of 100 to 150,
Mhm.
those bags and boards only come in cases of 100 each, so like it's all down to money. And honestly, trade waiting is going to save you so much more. Now when I say
Uh,
saving so much more, it's only about $5, to be completely honest, but that
yeah,
$5 over the course of a story that is 75 issues long,
yeah.
I mean, that's going to help in a long run. So,
Yeah, and I just wanted to shout out Zaki Hassan, who's a film critic on Twitter. I've seen his comic book collections, and he's actually like sent off the issues and had them like all bound, like on his own. Like didn't like purchase omnibuses. He had like all the individual issues and just had them put in hardcovers.
yes, I know
That's
exactly
insane.
which company he uses, and I have been wanting to do it for so long, but a part of me is just like, I know that they have to destroy the comic to do that, and it's just like, "Oh,
Hmm.
no, I can't. I can't." It just hurts me too much to know that they are, like, tearing that thing apart. But, I mean, it looks great. It makes it look so good with the leather bounding and everything else. It looks amazing. You can customize the spine and everything. It looks really, really good.
Yeah, and because the other one that's been recently delayed is for my birthday, I pre-ordered Charles Soule's Darth Vader omnibus because like if I can get it in a hardcover, I like hardcovers because they look nice. And that has been delayed till the end of November, and it was supposed to come out in 2 weeks. So,
See, that though, I can understand, okay, having it delayed by just a couple weeks can be reasonable, but if something like, let's say, a Lego Star Wars, you know, gets to getting
mm,
delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed, that's when it becomes an issue. Then you're wondering, okay, is this even something that you were truly even working on, or what's going on? For this, I know that just from experience working at a comic shop, because I do look at the date April 12th, 2022 for the Art of Visions book. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes there will be solicitations for, let's say, a December, because we're in October. They give out solicitations for 2 months in advance. December, one random page in that solicitation may be for books that are coming out in like 6 months from now. And it's really
yeah,
because of things like omnibuses. They're like, hey, these are going to be your heavier items. So we do want to let you know in advance so you can be prepared to drop that kind of money on these kinds of books. So I do have a little bit of faith that maybe they will stick with this April uh date, but who knows, you know?
Well, and the other thing to just kind of throw out there is publishing is really struggling right now, like maintaining materials and everything with the pandemic. So that's just another thing to taking into consideration. So sometimes delays really aren't the publisher's fault, and that's nothing to do on their own. But I also kind of wish, like, in terms of like the IDW High Republic Adventures, they'd come out and say, okay, hey, look, we're trying to get the paper for this. We can't print it. Something's happening, because sometimes that little bit of clarity goes a long way with your customers, I think. So
For sure. What do you want to hit on next?
so really quick, we have The Mandalorian won 7 Emmy Awards. So it took home Outstanding Prosthetic Makeup, Outstanding Cinematography for a Single Camera Series in the half-hour version, Outstanding Sound Mixing for a Comedy or Drama Series, 1 hour. Wait, how does it qualify for 30 minutes in one category and 1 hour in the other? I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't pick these. Um, and then gosh, this article doesn't have the rest of them. Okay. So those Summit took home. Um, Personally, for me, I'm not huge into awards. Oh, sorry, it says 7. It had 7 nominations and took home 3 awards.
Okay,
That
okay.
I read that wrong. I'm sorry, y'all. Um, so
You know,
outstanding prosthetic makeup is astounding.
I used to be somebody who was very big into award season. To be completely honest, since 2020, like I don't know if it's just like I got enough on my plate to have to like bring on more stuff. But honestly, my schedule has completely changed. So if it's not necessarily something that I need to watch, I will most likely see a highlight of it. And for me also, I fall into the category of I feel like every single person on the internet these days. And it's like, hey, if you can't tell me in like a minute or less, like I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna watch. Like it's
Stupid
just like
reels.
I need instant gratification. That's why I spent hours on TikTok, to be completely honest. I could sit there and scroll and scroll and scroll. It's horrible. I
I
have an
know.
addiction.
I don't have a TikTok because reasons, but when Instagram implemented them in their Reels format, that's why I said Reels and not TikTok, was because I spend a good amount of time on Reels. So
Oh
um
man.
but no, outstanding prosthetic makeup. The Mandalorian has done an outstanding job with that makeup season to season. There's only been 2 seasons, Katie, but um like the alien makeup, anything like Frog Lady. Oh my gosh, she looks. Every alien character on there looks so incredibly real. So it's just outstanding. And then I'm still confused over half-hour wins and then 1 hour wins, but that's neither here nor there. So
Well, I think the longest episode of Mandalorian has hit like what, 40 something minutes, if not over an hour, technically.
had one go for an hour. I think the longest episodes maybe have been like 38 minutes.
Really? That's it?
Yeah, we can
There's no way. Hold on. Hold on.
episode length of
The
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Except I can't spell.
Because I feel like there had to, even like the finale had to be longer than 30 odd minutes, you know?
Okay. So I'm on ifilmthings.com and it says they vary from 25 minutes to 47 minutes.
Okay, so I would assume that if the 30-minute award cuts off at 30 minutes, then the hour award would be anywhere from 31 minutes to an hour.
Right.
Maybe.
But then how do you win like a season award, not just like a television episode?
I, I'm trying to make sense of it, Katie. I don't know.
You're like headcaning this like me and Visions going into canon last week. Um so yeah, so there's the Mandalorian wins. Some other things we had, the art of the Mandalorian season 2, this is what I was talking about. The art of Mandalorian season 2 has apparently picked up a new release date. Um Sorry y'all, I'm sorely underprepared as per usual. It says it is scheduled to be published by Abrams Books on December 14th, 2021 on Wikipedia. So,
And which one was this? For what?
the art of Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 2.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
So this one was initially delayed and then it got picked back up to come out. And something I'm still sad about is the original novel set in the Mandalorian time era with the Mandalorian. I really wish they'd have that book. Delray, I know what Lucasfilm is telling you, but please can we have that book? Like, I want to know more about these characters and I don't want to wait. Remember instant gratification?
I didn't even know this was a thing. When was it
So
announced?
yes, Adam Christopher had, I think it was Adam Christopher. He had a novel announced for The Mandalorian back late last year, maybe like September, October-ish timeframe, and it was set to publish in, I think it was set to publish in February, and then it got delayed to November of this year, and then it was just canceled. So
Hmm. Canceled and not delayed?
cancel, cancel. They want to continue to develop the universe of these characters on screen.
So side tangent, because I heard some people talk about The Mandalorian the other day. They believe that in the spirit of Star Wars, Mandalorian is going to end at season 3 to keep it a trilogy of seasons. Do you think this is true?
Disagree, because I've heard some things said on the Twitterverse where it's like, oh yes, it will end here, but it will continue on as a new show, aka what people are thinking, The Mandalore.
The but I I don't like that. No, is it see, this is I don't like it because of I guess just the aesthetic of what it is called. Because
Mhm.
even let's take a book from Marvel. Spoilers for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So Falcon and the Winter Soldier went on for however many weeks, and then at the very end of the finale, the title changed from Falcon and the Winter Soldier to Captain America and the Winter Soldier. If they make a season of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, it's just Falcon and the Winter Soldier season 2. Like that's what it is. Like you can't like it
But
I
it,
understand the aesthetic of like what's happening in that universe. And I can't be mad because we were just talking about the other day how we should be getting just as much Star Wars content as Marvel content is getting. So like I should be happy with this, but at the same time it's like no, it's the Mandalorian. I don't think I want to move away from the character that we are focusing on via the Mandalorian to then go, oh, this is going to be Mandalore and we're going to, have the Mandalorian race thrive. And like, I don't want to know, like,
so
I don't know. See, now I'm just confused and
I'm gonna give you a Nathan right here. So the Mandalore, if you read one of the Knights of the Old Republic, Darth Revan books, um, the Mandalore is actually the title for the ruler of Mandalore.
is it
So
really?
you have Mandalore the Great, Mandalore the Conqueror, and they all take a gosh, an adjective or something to like distinguish them among the
Huh.
ranks of people,
I did not
and
know that.
that is how they choose to be told. So the thought process is that season 3 of The Mandalorian will take um the Mandalorian and um build him up to where he's ready to take on rulership of Mandalore, and then it will explore Mandalore, his rebuilding of actual Mandalore as the ruler, because basically people are thinking, okay, so he's still going to be traversing through the galaxy now with the dark saber that he's rightfully won because he took it from Gideon, um, and that he's going to just have to come to terms with it, and then Mandalore will see um like the race of Mandalore, the Mandalorian people get back to Mandalore or build a new society.
See, he does have the dark saber, and he doesn't
Hmm.
want it. I do think that he will have it for a while, but there's still one very important character that has sworn to take that back.
Hmm.
Like, that's a whole story within itself. And I can very much see that taking place in season 3 or beyond. Hmm. That's
So
that's interesting. That's very interesting.
and that comes from Jordan, who who he runs Cinelinx. So he's had a lot of Star Wars scoops. In particular, he scooped the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. He also scooped the Knights of the Old Republic remake, which we will get to. But before we go anywhere else, uh, gosh, what is her name? Katie Sackhoff talked with Slash Film about season three's unfinished business. And so it was an interview with Max Avery, and we know Mandalorian season 3 is filming. It's supposed to film till March of 2022. So she said, the way that Lucasfilm left me in season 2, one of the roads that could be gone down, absolutely, you'd think, would be the unfinished business. But that is so far above my pay grade, and you just don't know, right? As a fan of the show, I'm just excited to see what they come up with.
I I think she is definitely playing coy with that.
They all play coy. The
Yes.
wrestler chick was like, "Oh yeah, I think I'm done for this season," and then came back like,
Oh yeah, that's true. I I'm genuinely excited about all that just because we saw so much of for everybody who is stuck true to every piece of continuity of Star Wars, we've seen the dark saber way before the Mandalorian, and we know the history of that. And I would really like we've even seen like Bo-Katan like be very like what's the word I'm looking for towards the dark saber.
protective because she just wants to like help her people. That's
Yeah,
what I would
yeah.
say.
And we know it's more so because of what her sister represented with Mandalore and all of that. Like I think that she is genuine, but because of her obsession over that, I think it can get her in trouble in season 3. And
I
I
think
think it will.
I think it will too because she's protective about it, but she also feels a lot of regret, I think, about just taking the saber from Sabine in Rebels and not feeling like the rightful ruler of Mandalore in that case, and that's why she lost it to the Empire. Um, and so she's gonna harbor a lot of grief for Din, I think, in season 3. Um, Especially because he took it and like yeah. So another thing they covered in the interview was Ahsoka and Bo-Katan's relationship and how close they are. And Katie Sackhoff said she and Dave Filoni had discussions about the very thing. Dave and I talk a lot about Bo and her backstory and time lost and things like that, just because we enjoy talking about Star Wars and the characters. I definitely know a lot about who she is and where she's been and what's happened. So yeah, I knew that kind of stuff for sure.
I'm really excited about the future interactions of more of the characters that we know have a history together. Um, like you said, Bo-Katan and Ahsoka. Uh, do you think, because I mean, for one, we heard Ahsoka's name from Bo-Katan first in The Mandalorian before we actually
Mhm.
got to see her. So, do you think that we will see Bo-Katan again in the Ahsoka series?
No. Like, I could see it maybe if the Ahsoka series is supposed to take place, like, after we have Din or Bo or whoever take over as Mandalore. Um, and just so that way, like, maybe if it comes down to a Thrawn clash, then we can see kind of, the Mandalorians help Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra kind of fight Thrawn at the very end, because that was what was originally kind of forecast when all of the shows were announced. Is that Ahsoka, Rangers of the New Republic, and was there another one? It was Ahsoka, Rangers of the New Republic, and the Mandalorian would all cross over for one big event. Um, at like towards the end of their seasons. So I'm picturing there's going to be a Thrawn clash at
Do
some
you
point.
still think, because I don't think it is, but the Rangers of the Republic, do you think it's happening still?
It is not currently in development. It doesn't mean it can't be pulled off the shelf.
Yeah.
But because it was originally supposed to be the Cara Dune show.
Hmm.
But I think there's a lot of interesting characters that you could easily pull in and go, okay, hey, I want to turn this into your show. Vanessa Marshall has been like, please let me come back as Harrison Dula. Let me do it. Um, and I think that's an easy concept because like no one knows what a Ranger of the New Republic is.
Yeah.
So it's an easy concept to turn around and go, oh yeah, this is totally what we meant it to be originally. So
Yeah. Like, I genuinely think that whatever is going on behind the scenes can, it honestly can just be like you said, nobody knows outside of Lucasfilm what these concepts are.
mhm.
Anybody that tells you otherwise is full of crap. You can just say, oh, hey, because our lead is no longer our lead, we decided to go this route. Yeah, you could definitely say that for PR's sake, whatever. But you can always adapt. People like Marvel has adapted before. You know,
Yeah.
the Thor the Dark World did not go exactly as they planned. There was uh there was a change in director there, and they decided to go a different route with that. Same thing here. Hey, some things are not matching up to exactly what they had planned. Just rewrite. It can't be that hard. I genuinely want, and I know I teased this in our last episode, I want to have the conversation, and I just said it like a couple minutes ago. I genuinely think that Star Wars is a big enough universe to have a quote unquote MCU level of content and a level of storytelling as well. It's just like, it may not add up to like the Avengers of Star Wars, because I was having that conversation with myself also. Like, can a large like sum of content lead to something really big within the Star Wars universe or
Yeah.
movies or whatever? And it's like, okay, well, like the Gathering of Jedi is not so like, it's not like, oh, it's the Avengers, because we've seen Jedi gather before, you know?
Yeah.
So it has to be something really special. And I'm not the person to think that up because I'm still thinking about it myself. Like, I genuinely think, though, with people like Dave Filoni, and uh, even if you put, freaking Patty Jenkins, she with her Rogue One, I genuinely think instead of the stereotypical Avengers of Jedi, it could be some Jedi, some pilots, like this whole ragtag group of individuals teaming up to, defeat the dark side or a bad guy or whatever. I think you go that route. Katie is now holding up a few books that I cannot see the titles of.
So you've got Heir to the Empire, The Last Command, and Dark Force Red.
Okay.
So, and I think I had
Context.
those backwards. So Dave Filoni is a huge fan of the original Thrawn trilogy and Legends. He's used some of the maneuvers that Thrawn came up with in that book in the Clone Wars, and so it would be a really easy transition for him to just kind of use that. And a lot of people are saying, okay, it would be relatively simple to take what we get in The Last Command, and even you can tie in Luke Skywalker and trying to build a new Jedi Academy with Grogu and cloning and everything and make a really cool story, I think. So, yeah, that's what a lot of people have said is that Disney is going to try and pull off a version of Heir to the Empire, the Heir to the Empire trilogy with Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and at the time Rangers. So
Okay, I have to find these books. Now, are these do you know if this is something that is planned to be reprinted or do I have to find some older copies of this?
so they are currently they are reprinting because of the enormously popular book. I think we just had Theron celebrate his 30th birthday with the character creation this past May. So
Okay.
they definitely get reprinted. And they're also in the Essential Legends collection. So I think you may already have the first one. Um,
Do I really?
or do you just have the Darth Bane book?
Holy crap, I did buy the first one. I have it. Sweet. Did not even realize that. Look at
So
me.
yes, and the other two were printed as well. Again, I have not purchased them, even though Mara Jade is on the cover, which like I want it.
I almost bought it, but uh when I went to go buy it, Target for some reason loves to put their 20% stickers smack dab on the cover. And like I could tell this sticker was very particularly sticky. And I knew if I
Hmm.
attempted to take that sticker off, it was going to ruin the cover. So I was like,
I hate those. Stop
I
it.
like if you want to put a 20% off tag on like the little shelving to tell me, hey, this is 20% off, do that. Don't put it on the paperback cover of a book.
Yeah,
Like
don't do it.
it and
I will
even comic
say,
book shops don't do it to comics either. Same thing.
I will say, in defense of bookstores putting that sticker on, at least it's a sticker and not like printed on the cover. Now an Apple TV Plus TV show or whatever, or now a Netflix show. I don't care that it's a Netflix show. I just want to buy the damn book. Like,
See, I am not a big fan of the reprinted like movie covers for books. Like sometimes, like if it's good enough, if the cover is good enough to be like, oh, that's cool, I'll buy it. But if it's literally like, I'm pretty sure all of the Twilight series had reprints of like the actual characters on the cover, and I was like, that looks horrible. I'm sorry, can't do it.
my mom bought those versions.
But then you have things like I think I've seen the current one of Dune. Doesn't look too bad, but I do like some of the more creative artistic covers of Dune rather than the
Yeah.
movie covers, you know? But I genuinely think, going back to our discussion, I genuinely think that Star Wars, like, do you? I know I can probably get some flack for asking this question. Do you think Disney is afraid of putting out consistent Star Wars content or planning ahead? Because I mean, technically, if you look at, because I saw this post on Twitter the other day, if you look at 2020, 2020 is stacked with Star Wars. It genuinely is. So much so, if they plan it outright, I I think that for like 6 months straight, we have Star Wars content, and I think that's awesome. I just I don't feel the same way for Star Wars content that I do looking at something like a Marvel. Like, I'm getting more than DC, yes, but like I just want a little bit more push. I want a little bit more promotion. I want a little bit more hype. I don't know. I like the amount of hype that I have for High Republic is not what I'm getting for like live action and like actual productions of Star Wars.
So we're gonna take a quick ad break.
Oh yeah, we need
And
those.
so, yes, we do need those. And I'm going to take like 20 seconds and think about that question and see how I can politically answer this question. So, back, y'all. And three, two, one. And we're back. Thanks for listening, y'all. I appreciate it as always. So that was less than 20 seconds. But to the podcast listener, Clay, let's go ahead and remind everyone what your question was.
Yes. So, do you think that Disney is hesitant to put Star Wars content out as consistently as they are with something like a Marvel because of, you know, the sequel trilogy? And I'm not saying that because I dislike it, because I like it. I liked majority of the sequel trilogy. I think that the third was a little flimsy for me at times, but I still enjoyed a lot of parts in that movie. Everybody knows my stance on The Last Jedi. Me and Nathan had an epic conversation
Yes.
about it. But we know that Star Wars has become a very like divided fandom when it comes to movies, sometimes even content, and for some reason they just Kennedy, that for some reason they just like some people just hate Kennedy for no reason in my mind. So I want to know, are those factors a legitimate reason why Disney is saying maybe not so much Star Wars right now?
So I think so. Honestly, I think Disney is a little bit afraid to go against the crowd, as we can clearly see in some of the modifications they made to episode 9. Um, but I and the this is something I always had a discussion with Nathan was the vocal majority is always going to be the ones who are negative about something. That's why when I write movie reviews, I'm not thrilled to write a negative review because I know that's going to get more attention than a like Booksmart, for example. My Booksmart review got terrible views. It's a phenomenal film. Whereas my Chaos Walking one was like
Oof.
4 digits. And I hated Chaos Walking. Like I gave it a 1 out of 10. That is the lowest I've ever given a movie. And so the vocal majority is always going to be negative, regardless. Like there are people still to this day, I think, who are commenting on like High Republic videos on the Star Wars YouTube channel that are like, bring back Cara Dune. I'm like, dude, why you gotta like kill these creators? Like, but also bad publicity is always there's never such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah, because
So
bad publicity is good publicity. Like in any kind of noise is still noise is the big thing. And I don't know. In a way, and I know like some people from the GUA might be gasping at this statement that I'm about to make, but take it for WB. WB, like as much as I hate them, they're ignoring everybody and they're just like, hey, we're just going to put out content. I don't care if it makes sense. We're just putting out content.
False Titans. Sorry.
I mean, unfortunately, it's still content that they're pushing out. But
Oh.
it's not like I don't want Disney and Star Wars to be WB and DC. I legitimately think that if you have something, and of course, it all has to deal with the people that are in charge. It's the people that are creative enough to say, "Hey, we're going to work together to create this thing." Kevin Feige has mastered that in the MCU. I think right now Star Wars is a little shaken over what happened with the sequel trilogy, but they have clearly found something in The Mandalorian, their Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I think in a very smart way, what they could do is like make everything out of their Disney Plus, which is what seemingly they're doing, is continue with the Disney Plus and then create your movies off of that. Like start your creation at Disney Plus instead of in the theaters. Unlike that of Marvel, where they started in theaters and ended up at Disney Plus and even beyond. You can still go that route. Like I genuinely think like you cannot say that a like yes, Marvel has existed a lot longer than Star Wars has. But
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars has been a cult classic longer than Marvel has.
Yeah.
So it has the fandom. The money is there. Like I genuinely think, and I know people are already tired of Clayton. Stop saying genuine. I I I think that a a s- a Star Wars franchise without a uh, MCU like storytelling is I'm dumbfounded that we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, and I'm one of the things I pitched about Star Wars television a long time ago was taking eras of Star Wars and doing anthologies, very much like Star Wars Visions has done,
Mhm.
and going, okay, let's tell a bunch of self-contained stories and see what sticks. Is very much like the there's Legends anthology books that's like Tales from Jabba's Palace, Tales from the New Republic, Tales from the Empire, Tales from the Bounty Hunters. Like throw a mess of spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. Like I think that would have been a perfect way to go about doing this. I really still think the Ahsoka show should have been called Fulcrum, and then you can dive into Ahsoka is one season. Um, Captain America looking guy from Rebels is one season. Like, and just like dive into all these different, like the Callus, that's his name,
Oh,
Callus.
yeah, okay.
Everyone's like, Chris Evans could play him, so that's why I said Captain America guy. um, so I think they need to delve in that direction to kind of see what sticks. That's why I hope that they go to the studios who did Lop and Ocho and The Ninth Jedi and go, hey, here's money, make more. Um, I just think it would be really good to do and to have. And I do disagree slightly on the go to Disney Plus first and then the theater. I think Star Wars has always been movie territory, and the movies should remain like those big events, like the crossover for Ahsoka and Mandalorian. Whenever that happens, like I hope that's a movie, whether it be on Disney Plus or the theater. Like I want to go see that in
Ooh,
theaters.
do you think we will see oh my gosh, I forgot the Mandalorian's real name.
Jaren,
Yeah. Do you think we will see him in a movie?
I hope so. Um, because I truly think like the big events for Star Wars need to remain like either those. those big like adult books like The Rising Storm and the Light of the Jedi have been, like those are big events in that time period.
Mhm.
Um, but I think if you're going to do something high level with the Mandalorians, with Din Djarin at the lead, and like Ahsoka all facing off, but like with Thrawn, I think that needs to go to the big screen. Like I I still wish that Disney would take the last arc of the Clone Wars and put that in theaters. Like I'd pay good money to go see that in IMAX. Like really good money to go see that in IMAX.
I would have done it. Yeah.
So I just think big events in the time period we know right now should go to the big screen. I don't mind necessarily like I think Obi-Wan Kenobi going to the silver screen is a good way to get more content out of him. I I don't like I'm happy we're getting Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I'm also like I kind of would have rather I would have liked to see Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi fight on the big screen again. So,
Well, going in that direction, just because I think it was last year, we didn't, I can't remember if it was the end of last year, or the beginning of this year, we got an official poster release of Luke Skywalker and Grogu
yes.
building a lightsaber. That
Yes.
was very hype. People went crazy over it, especially because it was a yellow kyber crystal.
Yes.
Are you saying that you would is this something? So Grogu, we know that he was a big selling point for Mandalorian all the way through season 2. Like season 1, season 2, like he was a key character. People assume that we probably won't see him in season 3 of Mandalorian. If
I would think that's a good safe point.
if that is true, do you not want to see Grogu again as a proper Jedi until we see him in theaters?
No, because I'm still begging for a Luke Skywalker Jedi Academy show.
Oh, that would be so amazing. Oh my gosh. I was just looking at the Jedi Academy Jedi Outcast bundle for PS5. You can buy it on Switch, you can buy it on Xbox, you can buy it on PlayStation, whatever. But I own a PS5, and I was looking at it and I was like, make me not buy it. Make me not buy it. Like those games were amazing as a kid, and I absolutely love them. This, of course, would be completely different because they did go a different route with this new continuity. It's not necessarily what Legends was or
Mhm.
whatever. But if we see a Luke Skywalker Jedi Academy, that would be amazing. I would absolutely love it.
I would love to see it. I think it would be a great way to not necessarily solve a lot of problems because I think the Luke Skywalker haters of The Last Jedi are always just going to hate The Last Jedi. But I think for those middle tiering fans who are like, I'm not a huge fan of the way Luke Skywalker was portrayed in The Last Jedi. I think it would go a long way to kind of helping them go, okay, so we've got Grogu, we've got Ben here. Like, what happens? Like, what does Ben do that makes Luke Skywalker freak out? And I think, honestly, um, I know they did like the CGI and stuff for the Mandalorian season 2. But I think if you're gonna go live action for that,
Get a new
then
actor.
you have to get a new actor. Because A, it's not cost efficient to do that. And while people hated Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo, I think he did a lot in the movie to really make it work for him. You bring him back for that. And I think I think live action's the better way to go with that because you're gonna get a lot more fans involved in it and kind of tell the story of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Yes, you want to tell stories about other characters and everything, but at the same time we've stayed in the same era of storytelling on the big screen and the silver screen for quite some time. And if you're gonna stay there, then like tell this story because I think Luke Skywalker is a huge part of the Skywalker saga, and people want to know what happens to him. And
Yeah.
so, not telling that story is a huge shame, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think in what you could do, I'm trying to remember the uh event that is going on right now in the comics um that is dealing with the bounty hunters. Oh
War
shoot.
of the Bounty Hunters.
War of the Bounty Hunters, of course. It is dealing with the Crimson Dawn, and we
Yes,
know that
Kira takes over.
yes, we know at the end of Solo, she had uh some connections to a certain Sith that I think would be even more of a badass way of doing this. Would you can have because at this point we don't know when freaking Darth Maul. Well, we know when Darth Maul bites the dust or whatever. I think like right now, Crimson Dawn is like being pushed heavily in the comics. I
Hmm.
think it's because they're wanting to do something with like because of the positive push for Solo. I know that there was a lot of hate immediately when the movie came out,
Yeah.
but since there has been a lot of praise for it and a lot of positive of like, hey, this could actually mean something for, these individual characters. Disney Plus can definitely be a part of that. I think that you can still play around with a lot of those characters and play with Crimson Dawn. And that is, right now Disney is liking to play with a lot of the in-betweens of these, huge movies that we all know and love. Um, and I know we have like one more piece of news before we go into our main topic right before this ad break. But I'm just bringing that up just to say, like,
Yeah.
I think there's still like there is clear evidence of a lot of things that Star Wars is wanting to possibly do. It's just it's so weird and kind of meta at the same time. Like we've seen the success of the MCU. This is like knowing that an MCU Star Wars is going to happen, but like it's not there yet. And you're like, I know it's there. I know the potential's there. I know it's there. Like, it's just very meta for us to be seeing it now with eyes wide open with everything that's going on with Star Wars right now. And I'm just like, I just want more. Give me more. I'm
And
willing to empty my pockets. Like, give me more.
I think the big issue is Disney is trying to do a lot of setup right now in the comics and in the books they're telling these stories in order to prevent the well, you didn't have to rewrite the movie to like give
Okay,
us all this
yeah,
information.
yeah.
So I think you could like justify it somewhat that way. But yeah, I would love to see more on the silver screen for Disney. I'd love to see more in theaters for Disney for Star Wars, not just Disney. Um, and you know what I'd love to, I was gonna say something really cool, and I just totally lost my train of thought, like mid sentence. I was prepared for this. I was like, oh, you know what? I need to say this. I need to say this, and I forgot. So yeah. Um, oh, so like you brought up Crimson Dawn and Kira, and so we've seen some images of Kira fighting Darth Vader with like
Hmm.
these electro stabs. And I don't want to like talk about this anymore, but I want to draw a comparison to Ocho fighting Law.
Ooh,
So like the red like electrode thingies and everything.
I didn't
So
even
just
notice
think
that. Yeah,
about
that's kind of cool. Yeah, I could
um
see the comparison for sure. But you sent me this uh unfortunate news, but it's
mhm.
happy news and unfortunate news at the same time. Um, well, you want to go ahead and say this one, or do you want me to go ahead and?
I'll say it. So Tom Kane, who has done a lot of voice acting for Star Wars, going from Clone Wars to I think Rebels as well. Um, but he had a stroke several months ago, I think. And he is having to retire from voice acting. This was announced like over a month ago. Y'all, I'm sorry, but again, um, but he basically can't move smoothly from syllable to syllable anymore because of the stroke. So he's having to retire. Um, and his daughter said, thank goodness he's an actor and great at charades. And I thought that was really sweet, but also like sad.
It is
Um,
really sad because if if listeners out there, if you're confused as of who Tom Kane is specifically, he is the voice of the narrator and the announcer of Star Wars Clone Wars. He
yeah,
is the voice of Yoda. Like he did a lot of voice work. And like I always, like, every freaking Saturday morning when I was watching Clone Wars like religiously on Cartoon Network, like, to hear his voice like be like his voice was always booming right after the Clone Wars opening, and he would always tell you like, oh, in this part of the galaxy, and like he would tell you everything that's going on, and he's like, and at this moment our characters are here, and it would zoom in on what's going on, and he would set the tone every episode
yeah,
for what was happening. And I say that it's good news because, like, we didn't know how, like, he was going to progress. Like, when, like, the last thing I heard was that he had a stroke and we weren't really sure like what was going on. Like, we had heard, yeah,
yeah,
he might recover from it, he might not. And it's a very unfortunate thing, but once you've had your first stroke, you kind of have to be worried for more,
yeah,
unfortunately. And you know, from this announcement from his family, it seems like everything is fine. But it is sad to see a very good man and talented actor leave the Star Wars franchise, but he will forever be remembered and loved for sure. Um,
yeah. And just to kind of paint a picture for what he's been involved in, he played Yoda, Admiral Akbar, Admiral Yularen, and other characters for The Last Jedi, Rogue One, The Force Awakens, and Solo. He's also voiced characters in Clone Wars and Rebels, and arches around to the Lego movies, TV series, Avengers, Archer, Family Guy, Powerpuff Girls, Wolverine and the X-Men, Scooby-Doo, Shrek, Robot Chicken, Kim Possible, Foster's Home, Iron Man, and the Wild Thornberrys, and other animated series. He's been in a ton of Star Wars and Call of Duty video games. And he's also done voice doubling for Morgan Freeman, Anthony Hopkins, Patrick Stewart, Ian McClellan, Liam Neeson, and others. So they did put his address on Facebook, so you can find that there. And you can find all this by going to tomkane.com, by the way, and I'll leave that in the description box below. But he would love to start receiving fan mail. And he may already get tons of fan mail, but I just kind of want to throw this up because he's done a lot for Star Wars. But his new P.O. Box is P.O. Box 23606, Overland Park in Kansas, and the zip code is 66283. So make sure you'll go send him mail if y'all want to. They also said to include like your Instagram or Twitter so the daughter can send you pictures of her dad receiving the mail. And he's also been practicing his signature and would love to start autographing from home. If you do want an autograph from him, they do ask that you send a basically a envelope with a stamp on it. So yeah,
Very,
that
very neat.
is
I
yes,
I mean, I think that's really awesome, and I'm sure he will be flooded with fan mail for sure. But right before we move on to KOTOR, uh, final conversation that I've been waiting to talk about forever, let's go ahead and take our last ad break, and then we will move on to that. Remember, guys, we do not choose the ads. We don't choose how many times it repeats or how loud it is. So just be prepared for all of that. We will give you a 3 count, and we will be right back. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And we are back. So, Katie, I am not fully aware of your gaming history. I know that you I know you're a fan of the Lego Star Wars for sure because we've had conversations about that. I know that you have not yet finished the other oh shoot
Jedi Fallen Order,
Jedi Fallen Order, yes.
Injustice 2, Spider-Man.
So it's clear that you have a busy schedule is what I'm hearing. But do you have a history with Knights of the Old Republic?
So no, I don't. My first exposure to Knights of the Old Republic was I obviously knew of like the talk of it and everything, but my first exposure to the actual story was in the Knights of the Old Republic Darth Revan book, where basically it takes place after Knights of the Old Republic, and it's spoiler alert, Revan kind of figuring out what happened um, during Knights of the Old Republic and trying to make up for it in a sense.
Yeah.
So that's my only
So
exposure.
so I will say this. I was a fan of Star Wars. My dad was the first one to show me Star Wars. I thought it was a very cool concept. I did not become a Star Wars fan until I played Knights of the Old Republic. I played it on the Xbox when it first came out. It was strictly exclusively on Xbox. It was on the very first Xbox, and then of course the Knights Republic 2 came out on the Xbox 360. But I will say this: this is exclusively, it's a timed exclusive. So it will be exclusive to PS5 for a certain amount of time. And then after that, then it will move on to Xbox. Then, of course, I'm sure PC. Not sure if this is going to be something that the Switch would be able to handle, but for those who are just wanting some nostalgia over this, if you didn't know, this game is so old as far as the original KOTOR. You can play it on your phone and or iPad. It's on the app stores. What?
You can play it on your phone. No. Okay.
Yeah, you can play it on your phone, but also before you do that, because I do know you have a Switch,
You have
Star Wars
Switch.
Knights of the Old Republic is being re-released for the Nintendo Switch. The old version is being re-released. I'm really
Okay.
considering it just because it's going to have a little bit of a bigger screen than my phone. And then, of course, I can always use the docked version of my Nintendo Switch and play KOTOR on my TV. So I, I, I say this I say that to say this. I screamed like a little girl when when the actual title came out. Or for anybody who has not seen the trailer, you hear dialogue from the original voice actress for Bastila.
Well, who will be returning for the
Yes,
remake?
she will be returning for the remake. And then you see the red lightsaber. I start to freak out. And then you see the mask underneath the hood. When you see like it reflecting off of the lightsaber light, it's Darth Revan. I screamed so loud. I was so happy at this. It was amazing. And this has people speculating, is this going to be pushed into official canon? Is it not being pushed into official canon? This is technically a remake and not a remaster, right?
So that's what I thought too. I'm reading the IGN article because gaming and everything. And it says Asper will once again be handling development of the new remaster. rebuilding the game from the ground up, following on from their previous efforts with Republic Commando and Jedi Outcast.
Really? Hmm.
So I'm confused because everything I saw on the multiple media outlets thing that reported this was like remake, remake,
I'm
remake.
pretty sure the actual like official like trailer says remake. I am pretty sure.
IGN is like IGN is the gaming world,
But it's
right?
not the actual. Okay, so hold on. Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay, wait. Can we play the trailer? I want to play the trailer.
I'm looking at it now. It says here from PlayStation themselves.
Okay.
Says the title of the trailer is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake PlayStation Showcase 2021 trailer. This is a remake. I have to agree with the people making the game that this has to be a remake. It's so short. It's like the video says, it's barely over a
Yeah.
minute, but I oh, there is other gaming news. So we'll have to talk about it right after this. But you just it's very very stoic the way this trailer drops. And oh man, just I love the sound of freaking lightsabers. I'm sorry. It's just like
Mhm.
as soon as it ignites, you're like, holy crap, who is this? Is this freaking Bane? Are they making a Bane video game? And holy crap, it's freaking Revan. I love that mask. Now,
So I'm curious,
remake.
yes, and
It says
Knights of
right
the Old
there.
Republic remake.
Remake. It says
It's
right there
official.
in the
Remake.
actual title is remake.
IGN, you were wrong.
So
Um,
there's so
I'm
many
trying to think.
people making speculation that because it's a remake, it leaves room to put the story within actual canon.
And I would say it has to, because if you're remastering a game and just like totally just like rebuilding it from the ground up, doing the exact same things in the game, then why do you need the voice actors to return to play the NPCs?
Yeah,
Because otherwise you'd be reusing those vocals from the old game.
yeah.
So to me, you
Well,
don't.
I devil's advocate, devil's advocate. So as an audio engineer, because I can technically now come from what my professors say, now that I'm in the class that I'm in, working on my portfolio, I can now say that I'm an audio engineer. As an audio engineer, I know that the technology from 2005,
Mhm.
2006, maybe even earlier, 2004, that audio you would not be able to make as crisp as something as a 2021 product. So there would be too much compression. So you would definitely have to. So like, I'm trying to like talk myself out of this not being a remake. No, I want it to be a remake.
Because to me, I'm like, why would Disney put money into doing this and pull in like a different? I think it's a different studio than who makes their typical games. Um,
Well, I was recently I think EA no longer holds the like all the rights for Star Wars.
Okay.
So they're able to like dish it out to other people, which is a part of our other news that we can talk about. But more on this right now. I think
Well,
this can be canon because although his name was never mentioned in the show, he was going to have an actual episode. Revan was going to be in Clone Wars at one point. Do you not know this? I've shared the
my
video
face
with
tell you that I know this.
I I shared the video with Sarah a long time ago. I need to find it again and share it with you. There's an interview with Dave Filoni, and they went so far, Katie, as to animate the character of Revan and Bane, but they never rendered it into full production.
So they rendered Bane though.
Did Bane actually end up being in Clone Wars? Okay, okay. Let me do a little bit of digging real quick, and I will find that video and send it to you. But because of that, I know that Dave Filoni loves, I mean, you said it yourself. He loves legends. He knows that there is some good stories in there that are worth digging around and putting into canon.
Mhm.
And with him now being his technical role in Lucasfilm is what the creative director, I can't remember what his new title
Covered
is.
this and I don't remember. Hang on, please hold.
But I
It's
know that
on the Lucasfilm website.
yes, yes, I remember that much. But I think he would genuinely have to have some sort of say so in even something like this. I would assume.
Executive producer slash executive creative director with his little
Yes.
cowboy hat and everything. He's so cute.
Yes. So, okay, I found the video. I am going to send it to you on Twitter so you can watch it later. So,
Oh, but you don't want me to watch it like while we're live?
I mean, you can. I don't know how long it would be though. Um, Let me actually go back to it because if it's a minute long, you can watch it. It would be fine. Um, yeah, I think it's less. I think it's less than 3 minutes, so you can honestly like watch it. Uh, yeah, it's right there. Look at that.
Oh my god. Oh wait, but I'm not allowed to play sound, so never mind.
No, it's. I'm pretty sure you can because it's a TikTok. It's not like
Okay.
it's. Well, actually, I think you need to use the setting to share sound on your
Oh.
because I can't hear it, but you can hear it, I guess. But the TikToker is
I
Kevin
don't remember it.
Parker. He does a lot of just Disney and Marvel stuff in general. Uh, and there is a lot of people saying that this character isn't canon, this that and the other. He's like, oh well, actually, and he shared the video. Um,
Oh, okay.
and it does in fact show that like there are certain uh books like Lucasfilm like affiliated art books and everything talking about how uh Revan is like he's saying it now something about uh something within the lore Revan is there, and then later on he talks about how Revan was actually in was supposed to be in Clone Wars.
Okay.
So, like, there's still a precedent that KOTOR can now become canon, which would be amazing. The story of KOTOR, I will say this. I won't tell you details, but
I know
um
basics.
the character that you play has ties to Revan. And your character, the best part about these games is that you can decide whether you are going to go down the path of being a Sith or the path of being a Jedi, and it completely changes the story.
Wait, wait. So I thought. Okay. So y'all spoilers. Spoiler alert for KOTOR. But you know what? It's an old game, so what the fuck? So you've had enough time to skip 15 seconds. But I thought. So I thought the character you play is Revan.
Okay, so I didn't know how much information you knew, so I was just going to play coy until you played the game. But yes, you are
Okay,
right.
I figured out that story games just aren't my jam. Like that's why I can't ever get into like Jedi Fallen Order or Spider-Man is because I got too many things to do with my damn fingers and I don't know what like it's
Okay,
anxiety
so
inducing. So
so the next part. So you don't so okay, I'm confused. What kind of you like video games that you like are just like button mashing and fighting and stuff or racing?
I like the Lego games. Like
Okay,
I
that you
love like Lego
games that
Star
can
Wars, Lego
basically
Harry
just like
Potter.
you can just pass time with. See,
Yes.
there is a game that is, I believe it's is it Quantum Realm or Quantum Dream? I think it's Quantum Dream. Hold on.
Side
I
note, I did find the KOTOR bundle on your phone, and you can get KOTOR 1 for $10 on iPhone and KOTOR 2 for $15, or you can purchase them both for $20. So,
yes.
if
So
you're
it's not
interested,
so it's not Quantum, it's Quantic Dream is a video game studio that is rumored to be making a Star Wars game. The really cool thing about this developer of games is that it's very story driven to the point of like you don't do a lot of like moving around. You don't it's more of like, hey, I need to choose what my character is saying and then watch the dialogue go back and forth. Like you create the story in these types of games, and it seems like there's rumors of them making a Star Wars game like that.
see, I think my biggest issue with like the wandering around part is like the actual wandering around part. If I got to just like, I think that's why I like the Lego game so much is because I can go to a chapter and just like go do stuff and then be done. Whereas like if you have to wander around and find whatever you're supposed to be doing, then there's like stuff you miss because I'm like 3 planets deep on Jedi Fallen Order, and it's like, oh yeah, you're 30% complete on this planet. Oh, you're 20% complete on this planet. I'm like, that bugs the crap out of me because now I gotta go back and wander around and get
But
lost
see,
stuff.
I do the exact same thing though. And some people can see that as a problem. For me, I see it as, hey, that means I'm going to play this game for a really long time. You
No,
know,
see, I'm a completer. I like seeing the 100% on the
yeah.
screen.
And in that game, you can't do certain things unless you move forward with the game. And like with certain powers, you'll be like, okay, I can't do this until I learn how to double jump. I can't use this until I learn how to force push. I can't do this until I learn how to force jump and do all these certain things. And then you can go back to those other planets and then
But then
complete them.
But then the problem is that I then have to remember the combination to do like a force jump, which is like square square triangle or square Y triangle, and
You're
I'm
just like,
like,
no, I want one button for everything.
I want to be able to like hit X twice to jump, and then like move the little like controller thing on the left, and like just like move around, jump, and then like hit square if I need to use a weapon. That's all I want.
It
I don't want anything complex. I am simple.
I will say I am a big fan of story-driven games. I like Cal Cal Kestis is quite possibly my favorite Jedi. Um because of like what the story has done and what he could possibly mean for the future of Star Wars. Like
Yeah.
KOTOR like could be even more of like a favorite game now because it could mean like, hey, now we're gonna get like your favorite game and like a lot of people's favorite Star Wars game, add a little to it, and now have proper history to the Star Wars universe moving
Yeah.
forward, you know?
And I think that's something I like. Like, I'll definitely. I haven't watched the KOTOR cutscenes. It's just like people are like, "Oh, this is a 20-year game. If you wanted to play it, not no spoilers, then you should have played it." And so, at some point, I'm gonna watch the Jedi Fallen Order cutscenes and then the KOTOR cutscenes. So maybe that'll be an episode one day. If we just talk about the story from the cutscenes. I
Well,
don't know.
like one thing that I genuinely loved about KOTOR was the ability to because you get allies, you get people like you'll get droids that come in and like are part of your crew. You'll get like a smuggler or two that become a part of your crew, and you have the ability to like get these people and make them not make them, but like they become either Jedi or Sith. They become one with like the Force. They start to learn a little bit more about it, and then before you know it, they're like, "Hey, I want to go find my lightsaber or whatever," and like you can give them a lightsaber after that, and I think that's really cool. Um, but I'm just so excited about this. Uh, I think it was Taylor that said it over at Geekverse when they talked about this the night that it dropped. I'm so glad that not only just one entity has all the control over what kind of Star Wars video games we have now. We can have like
Yeah.
so many different types of video games when it comes to Star Wars. And I'm really excited. I'm super excited to see what Sony and Star Wars are going to do with this game. I want a little bit more information on it. And I know it's a very big trope of Star Wars, but like Disney and Star Wars need to like come out in front of things and just be like, "Hey, this is canon. Hey, this is not canon." Like instead
Yes.
of just
Like
being
they
like
did with Visions.
and being like, I don't know, maybe you could possibly head canon something. I'm just like, no, just tell me. Tell me if it's vision, like tell me if it's canon or tell me if it's not. It's super simple. 2 words. Not canon, canon. Boom.
All right, y'all. So I that is really all I have to talk about KOTOR remake. I'm excited to see what comes of it. I'm probably not gonna play it, let's be real, because
Well, do you
yeah.
have a
Mhm.
PS5?
I don't have a PS5. I have a PS4.
See, I think this is a PS5 exclusive. So that is probably going to be a bigger problem because right now it's kind of hard to find a PS5. I was very lucky
Well,
to be a part of an email from Sony, and they gave me like an invite to go to purchase one, and I was able to get one. So
that's insanity to me. Um, no, but Matt has been waiting to get the new Xbox, whatever, I think it's Xbox S or whatever.
mhm.
He's been waiting to get that to see about like new games that are coming out for it because when it came out first, he was like, there's not enough like games to like really incentivize me to get this. So he's probably going to be getting one early next year. So at the very least, whenever it becomes an Xbox game, then I can get it on Xbox or something. Yes, I'm
Yeah,
excited to play it. So
yeah, you can get him to just play it, and you can just watch. That'll
see,
and
that's what.
he can influence his you can influence his choices. That would be fun.
Oh, because see, it was funny because I think it was IGN was looking for a writer to do like game playthrough, um, like their little playthroughs, like tell you where to go and everything. And I was like, so this could be a full-time job for me, but you would need to play the game because I don't play games. And so I just like take notes and you tell me, okay, yeah, you need to go here, you need to go there, and then I can just write and we can like call it even.
That would be amazing.
I know.
That
So
would be that would be awesome.
I think that job posting has now been taken down, which is why I'm comfortable saying that. But you know, that's whatever works. Um, so I think that's all. Well, that's not all the Star Wars news we had today, but everything else was kind of like a minor, or is like minor and too late to cover now. So I think that's all we have for today. Nice, tight hour 30-minute show.
Yeah,
So
very very
yeah.
simple. I had a lot of fun. I'm excited about a lot of things. I know that looking at your schedule cuz now we have a schedule for Star
Thanks,
Wars
y'all.
Alliance.
I
Uh
I did it.
we do have I believe the High Republic manga to talk about next week. I
So it's
believe.
Edge of Balance Volume 1.
Yes. And then after that, because I see that it's already available, I might actually watch it this weekend. Um, the Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales.
Yes, so that came out October 1st. Um, and so we aren't going to cover it the week of Halloween because I'm going to need 2 weeks to read Ronin. Um, and so that will be when we do that. So Terrifying Tales will be next. It is on Disney Plus now, so you can go ahead and watch it. So
Yes, this will be very, very exciting. I will probably also need 2 weeks to read Ronin, one to listen to it, and then again to actually read it is probably my thing. But yeah, super exciting to have the rest of 2021 full of Star Wars content. Um, but yeah, I think that is the end of the show. Katie, where can they find you?
So you can find me on Twitter. It's at Slice of Katie. You can find my other show on the Geek Ultimate Alliance Podcast Network. It is at Slice of Film One. The next episode for that will be James Bond, No Time to Die. Matt and I finally finished Bond movies. We did that last night. So now we have officially seen the Daniel Craig Bond movies, I should say, because I have never
Nice.
seen any other James Bond movie. So that will be next. That is going to release on Monday, because I'm out of town this weekend, and so I can't record to get it out on Sunday. So I think that's going to be Chris, Joe, and I think somebody else had said they wanted to join in. I don't know. I'll ask again. I'm sure. So that will be next, and then the next episode after that, I will finally get Split out because that was supposed to be last week's episode and I didn't publish it. So Split will be after that, and then Dune, and then we go into Ghostbusters one. So
Oh, that's gonna be so much fun.
so I got Chris for Ghostbusters. I have Helen with Full Circle Cinema for Ghostbusters 2, and then Sarah for Ghostbusters 2016. So
Awesome. I still need to watch that one. I will be honest, everybody's opinion kind of influenced me and I never went to go see it. So I will be giving it a try for sure. I think I actually own it, like, because I think it was one of those movies from like Voodoo that's like, hey, if you add so many of your accounts to this, you'll get these movies for free. And so I think I have that one for free in just like the digital movies that I own. But you can always find me at Fanboy Clay on Twitter. In the link tree in my bio has all the links to all the shows that I host, that including DC Alliance, Batman News Weekly, Comic Book Legion podcast, the Weird Science manga, Marvel, and DC podcast, as well as the Ranger Alliance podcast, and of course, this one here, the newly added Star Wars Alliance. So, guys, thank you again for listening. Well, actually, I'm not going to take this away from you. You have your usual ending to these episodes that I need to learn in case that, I think it's like what, the first week of December you're going to be leaving me to host alone.
Second week, and it may depend. We can make it work. But my sister's getting married the 10th, so I need to go help. But before we leave, Star Wars Alliance Twitter account where you can send a screenshot of your review for the podcast on our personal feed, on your favorite podcatcher. Send us a screenshot on to the DMs of Star Wars Alliance without the A in the Wars. Very important, don't forget it. And that's where you can find all of our publicized episodes. And we are of course continuing to publish on the GUA feed as well. So with that, I want to wish everyone a great day or night, whatever time of day you're listening or watching, and we will see y'all next time. May the force be with you.
See ya.